Good afternoon. It's game day, and this is the 24th of 53 consecutive 5-mile walks from the Wrexham Memorial to the Miners' Rescue and back again. And the weather is absolutely appalling. And as it's game day, our attention turns to football and the Wrexham Tranmere match that was played at the racecourse on September 22nd, 1934, while the rescue operation was still in full swing. And we'll look at the game a week later against Chester City at Sealand Road. The facts around the Tranmere game are well documented. We know that about 50 miners doubled up their shifts to get to a game they would never see. We know of the 2-minute silence, the black armbands, and the crowd of 10,100 who witnessed the 2-2 draw. And most fans will also be aware of the well-publicised words of George Lerry, the Wrexham leader sports writer, who observed himself that people were unable to turn their minds to the thoughts of football, and how he personally hoped the game would be postponed, saying, after hurrying from the pithead, where I'd seen the dead bodies of miners and brave rescuers who'd lost their lives, where too I had watched other heroes still going down to fight the flames below, I did not find it easy to settle down to the task of taking notes of this match. But what did the league system look like back then? And who were that particular season's champions? The league system was pretty much the same as it is today, with Division 1 equivalent to today's Premier League, Division 2 the Championship, but with Leagues 1 and 2 being split regionally into Division 3 North and Division 3 South. That season, Arsenal would win the Division 1 title, Brentford the 2nd Division title, Charlton Division 3 title, and Doncaster would win the league that featured Wrexham, Division 3 North. Looking at the final table of the league that year, it's as though time has stood still, with 9 clubs, including Wrexham, Stockport, Mansfield and Crewe, competing in League 2 today, and a good handful of others being recent opponents of ours in the National League. Today's opponents, Accrington Stanley, were also in the league, finishing a lowly 18th. We drew 2-2 at their place on November the 10th, 1934, and the result was the same back at home on March the 23rd, 1935. Two clubs are no longer in existence. New Brighton folded in the mid-80s, and Chester City were wound up in March 2010 after an unsuccessful attempt to join the Welsh Premier League. Today, the Phoenix club Chester FC still ply their trade in lower league regional football. The game after the Tranmere match was versus Chester City at Sealand Road on the 29th of September, when the full horror of the disaster was known. Wrexham were thumped 6-2 in front of a crowd of 15,000, and the game marked the last ever goal that would be scored by our record goal scorer Tommy Bamford before his move to Manchester United. The big attendance was surely a show of support, and Chester fans raised £8,800 for the relief fund at a time when cash was desperately needed for the dependents. Chester City directors invited Wrexham rescue workers to take part in the collection and transported them from their homes, and they also approached the Welsh FA with the idea of a combined Wrexham and Chester 11 playing the full Welsh international team. The Welsh FA refused. Wrexham's commitment to remembering the Gresford disaster has remained strong over the decades, and with the takeover of the club by Rob and Ryan, the club's commitment has become enshrined in the February 2021 mission statement, which states under a section called Hard Promises that appropriate and respectful observance of the Gresford Colliery disaster will remain sacrosanct. The FX documentary has introduced the disaster to new audiences on these shores and much further afield. And if the plans for the new COP do go ahead, we will have the most stunning commemoration of the 266 victims of the disaster and a giant architectural symbol of the coal mining heritage upon which this town is built. And finally, I put a question out on Twitter last night, asking if you were a coal miner and you could choose just one former or current Wrexham footballer to be your ideal co-worker in the pits, who would it be? Recognising the requisite discipline, stamina, resilience and courage, a team of Wrexham FC miners has emerged, including Alvon Griffiths, Eddie May, Gareth Davis, Darren Ferguson, Mark Creighton, Glenn Little, presumably for his ability to do what no other man can, Luke Young, James McLean, and the clear and obvious choice of pit captain, Joey Jones. Some left field suggestions were made: Lamine Sacco for his ability to headbutt coal faces, Bobby Grant perhaps taking on the role of pit canary, and Cole Stockton. Thanks, Craig. Today's walk was dedicated to Edward Jones of